Hello and welcome back for a new video which I wasn't sure I was going to make. I still struggle finding the right angle to film myself while knitting or doing crochet, and that one was no exception. I filmed myself in angles that were so unflattering that there is no way I'm going to use the footage, but I do have some shots of my very cute cats which will compensate. For this dress we are going vintage. I found the pattern in a catalog that is older than me and it was love at first sight. I really like the crochet part of the bodice, but I don't like the skirt and the sleeves, so for the skirt and sleeves I will use the knitted pattern. I basically will combine both dresses. I had tried to make that dress a couple of years ago, but unfortunately I didn't buy enough yarn, and when I tried to buy some more, the color was always slightly different and I just decided not to go with it because it would look weird if you had a color that was, even if it was just a little bit, if it was a little bit different on the skirt, for example, it would be visible and it would look very bad. So I used the yarn that I bought to do other stuff instead. And for this project, for the second try of that vintage dress, I bought a lot of yarn, like a lot. And now let's go to the video. I hadn't knit for so long that I decided to start this project with the skirt. I could have started with the sleeves, but the pattern wasn't exactly what I wanted and I didn't want to make any calculations right from the start. The skirt has 4 panels and I spent approximately 3 weeks per panel. There is nothing better than long knitting project for cuddle time with cats. Once the 4 skirt panels were completed, it was time to sew them all together. Sewing knit is not my strongest suit, so I really made sure that everything was as nice as possible. And it took me quite a while. It took me several hours to knit everything together. And I was really looking forward to seeing the result because I was a little bit afraid the skirt would not fit, but it did perfectly. It was really nice, it was perfect. As you can see, it's not really sexy with my winter socks, but hey, it was winter. And now on to the sleeves. Obviously, it took me less time than the skirt, but I still spent 2 weeks per sleeve. Luckily, I'm not an octopus. And now onto the bodice. When I tried the first dress, I started with the crochet part because it's the one that I was most interested in, and I made so many mistakes. The pattern is very easy. You have one line of double crochet, and the second line is 5 double crochet, 1 chain stitch, 1 double crochet, 1 chain stitch, very difficult to pronounce, 5 double crochet, etc. If you make a mistake at the beginning of a line, you would usually not see it before the end of the second line. And when you have 180 stitches in one row, imagine how much you need to undo if you made a mistake. With the first dress, that happened to me so many times that for this one, I made sure I was really careful not to make a mistake, and I failed time and time again. I'm finally done with the crochet. I'm done with the dress. Actually, I have been crocheting the bodice and the collar non-stop for the past 3-4 days. My fingers are so painful. Yesterday and even the day before and today, like for 3 days, I've been crocheting, realizing that I made a mistake. I had to undo several rows, start it again to realize once again that I made some mistake, undo, redo. Gosh, that happened so many times that I started to be really frustrated. I didn't do anything else during this day, just like from morning to evening, not having a rest or just like 10 minutes to eat something. So I'm so glad it's finally over. I want to move on to something else. I am done with this dress. I hope it will look nice. Otherwise, now I will try to get rid of as many cat hair as possible because knitting and crocheting when you have cats is not ideal. And then I will be able to assemble everything. I had already assembled the skirt, but there is always a but. On the catalog, it's written that the zip is supposed to be on the left. But when I have the bodice on the left, I don't like it so much. And I don't know what is the front side or the back side of the crochet. I can't really make the difference, but I just know that there is one side that I like more than the other. And obviously, the side that I like the best is with the zip on the right. So I will need to, unless I decide to go for the left, I will need to undo the sewing of the skirt panels to do it in the other direction, sense, whatever. So that's what we are going to do next. And no, that is not what we did, because even though I am a professional undoer, redoer, I sometimes can be reasonable and save myself time and trouble. So I changed my mind about the zip. Yes, the zip stayed on the left, and I even didn't have to modify the skirt because the difference was not that big between the skirt and the bodice. So I could just sew them all together without too much of a problem. I also did a row of crab stitch along the collar to make it a lot nicer, and I had a row of crochet as well on the skirt to prevent it from rolling, which in the end didn't help much. I had to spend 1 or 2 hours ironing the dress, and even like that it kept on rolling. For the buttons, I bought myself a new toy, and I am so glad I did. It's a button press, I guess. I'm not sure if it's called like that, but let's call it a button press. It is very easy to use when you know how to use it, because like for most first time I wasn't very successful and I had to redo some buttons 3 times. Obviously, I realized that I didn't do them correctly once they were sewn onto the dress, because otherwise it would have been too simple. So I had to do them several times, but they really look amazing.